That's weird, right?
That
Oh
was
shit.
weird.
Hi everybody. Sorry. I usually put on the music right before. You know it's Monday. That's what it is. It's Monday.
Oh my goodness.
I usually put on music, don't I?
I was waiting till I could do my number. Like that's why it's coming,
Oh man. Hey Twisted people. On that note, how's it going, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us, Twisted people. I'm your girl, Chauncey K. Robinson, aka Twisted Woman CKR, and I am joined here by the woman who made all of this possible because she made me possible. My mother, Karen Robinson. Always a pleasure to be talking Charmed, season 3. Here with our live show. We're doing Charm season 3, episode 12. And so, thank you to all of you who are joining us in the live chat and those of you who are joining us on the replay. I know it was a little bit of an abrupt start. Usually I put a timer on. I don't know. I think my brain was just somewhere else and I just pressed live. I don't normally do that. But either way, life comes at you fast, y'all. I am excited, as always, to talk to you all, starting off the week talking about a show that I watch. We're talking Charmed. So if you're new here or not new here, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about overall thoughts, give it a grade and whatnot. And then we're going to talk about what actually happened this episode. And then we're going to have to talk about ship talk because, I love talking about my ships and other ships that aren't even my ships. We'll talk about those too. And then we're going to talk about predictions. And so what the question I have for all of you who are joining us is, what were your thoughts on this episode overall? Did you like it? Did you love it? And what would be the grade that you would give it? Would you give it a C? I know last week we had a little bit of a mixed bag. Some people gave last week's episode, I think some people were like A+, A. And then I think for me, I was part of the group that was kind of like C+, maybe a B-. So I'm curious to know what are y'all grades this episode. And then I want to ask you a question that we'll be talking about, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more, as we dive into this episode. Thank you, Blue Wolf Phoenix, already giving the B+ for this episode. Madame Scorpio, thanks for joining us in the live chat. It's going to give it a B. As well. So, we're getting B's, no A's. I don't feel like we've had an A kind of episode in a while. I think it's been a while since we've had an A kind of episode. Maybe that's just my thoughts on it, but I feel like it's been a minute since we've had an A level episode. But the question I want to ask you all is, do you like the direction this season seems to be going? Do you know the direction this season seems to be going? Are you enjoying where the show or where this season is taking the characters? Let us know in the comment section, in the replay, and also in the live chat, because I got some thoughts on that as well for me, and we'll get into it. So, Ma, let's jump right into it. What was your overall thoughts of this episode, and what grade would you give it?
Well, the grade I gave it a B.
Why a B? Why not an A?
Well, I start really looking at, some things wasn't explained right. Mm-hmm. And it just jumped into something. And then when it came back on, I'm really looking for them to go back into the prison thing so we can find Jordan.
We got no Jordan this episode. How dare they? How dare they?
Jordan, give us Jordan. There's a brother in this place. We don't need to be looking at
him. They got to give us our Jordan fix. I don't know. I feel like I've become a Jordan stan of Charmed. I'm just like, I'm fine with this. I automatically give an episode like a +10 points if Jordan is in it. And when he's not, I'm just like, well, what's going on here? Whoa. Like, we don't even got Jordan to salvage this. In the chat, you all are kind of already answering the question I asked you about the direction. Madame Scorpio saying, I have no idea where this season is going. Blue Wolf is saying, no, I don't like the direction of the season. This season has been confusing. Yes. Damie, though, with some positivity, and I have a feeling it has to do with the Hasty that Damie's happy about, and saying, I like the direction. It's way better than season 2. I can see that definitely on the Hasty side of things. We'll talk about ship talk. It's definitely better this season for Hasty Some aspects of this season are better than season 2, but we'll talk about overall. And Blue Wolf is saying, am I going to be dealing with a show like this? I need to see more Jordan. Exactly, Blue Wolf. I mean, it's like, if you're going to be dealing with a show where it seems a little confused on where stuff is going, at least give us our favorite character, guys.
Yes.
Like, at least give us our favorite character. Damie is saying, I graded a B+ because I'm tired of this allergy thing, boy, and no Jordy. Exactly. And Madame Scorpio, Jordan is MVP. We agree. We love Jordan. So, my overall thoughts of this episode is, I didn't love it. I don't know if I liked it either. And I think, I think as an episode, I thought it was all right. But I think if I was thinking of it as an episode, I probably would have given it maybe a B+. I thought it was a little scattered. I thought they tried to put in way too many plot lines in this episode. There was a lot of different plot lines going on in one episode. And I thought that meant that some plot lines only got like 2 to 3 scenes while others dominate. And it was like, why did you even include all of these if that was the case?
I mean, they just, that should have been more on the front line. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so I felt like it was a little lopsided, a little scattered, and I was fine with that. But I think what made me go a little bit lower, like for a B-, maybe a C with this episode, is because it is episode 12 of this season. And I think the season's going to be slightly shorter. We're not getting 22 to 23 episodes. I think we're getting like 18 or whatever, maybe 18, 19, I'm not sure. And I still feel like nothing significant has happened. I feel like they keep going back to square one. I feel like there's no real movement going on. And I worry, when you watch a show, you want momentum to build. You don't need it to be like season 2 was breakneck speed. Like it was like the whole thing was this major plot, right, of witches' protection, where they were just like, everything was major for them in season 2. And it was a lot, maybe too much going on too soon with major stuff. And I feel like for season 3, they just kind of totally reversed that, where it was like, okay, nothing major is happening. And you just kind of have some stuff going on in the background, but nothing major is happening. And I kind of echo what others have said about season 1, where I like the idea that they were vanquishing, you had like demons or monsters of the week building up to a bigger thing along with their personal lives. There was just a way more of a balance there from in season 1, where they did the personal life, they did the problem of the week, and it was building up to the big bad that would happen in like maybe the last 5 episodes. And I just feel like this season has been a lot of middling, like nothing major is going down. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, we're already on episode 12 and I don't know where this is building up to. The major baddie we've had this whole season has been this elusive allergy. Really? Like that's the major thing? That's kind of weird to me. Damie is agreeing with me in the chat saying, yes, season 1 was the best. I love rewatching season 1. Blue Wolf is saying, I said it before and I'll say it again. We need the writers from season 1. Yeah. Melania, and I agree with you, Melania, is saying, I was impressed by Sarah Jeffrey's range. Once again, Sarah Jeffrey has really shown herself to be such a quality actor on this show, because when and maybe it's because she's the younger one, so they give her a little bit more of those kind of quirky plot lines where she has to do different kind of things, even though it'd be cool to see Macy play a character like that, where she has to play like super young or whatever. But, Sarah Jeffrey does not disappoint when she's given those tasks. Like when she had the, what was it, Mom? The doppelganger or someone last time, when she had to play a mirror version of herself, of a monster that basically took on her thing. She did great there, and she did great in this one as well. So I definitely agree with you, Melania. And let us know, Melania, and all of you who are watching, what your grade is of this episode that we just checked out this week. Madame Scorpio saying they obviously need Jordan to deliver us from the Perfecti. Jordan would have called the Perfecti out from the beginning. That's why he's in the tomb. Exactly. Jordan always sees the truth in things. And as the chat is also pointing out, season 1 for many people was for them probably the most balanced and best season. But we also know season 1 had totally different showrunners. And, when showrunners come on a show, they have, the showrunner is the showrunner. They have a different vision. And I think with season 1, you kind of knew the vision of the show. And I think the issue that we're having here in season 3 in particular is I don't see a vision. I don't see where they want to take this. What are they doing necessarily? So yeah, my overall thoughts is I gave this like maybe a B-, a C+, mainly just because I'm putting it into the context of season 3. I was just like, this is more of the same, where we have a whole almost an hour and nothing significant has changed. And I'm a little tired of episodes like that, to be honest, especially when we're more than halfway through the season. Yeah. So we have the things that happened this episode. So we have Macy and Maggie's situation. We have Harry's situation, and we have Abby's situation. Abby, and by default, Jordan, but since we didn't see Jordan, I'm going to call it Abby's situation. So let's deal with those 3, lady. Let's first and foremost talk about Macy and Maggie's thing, where basically Macy, after Harry and Mel go off on their plot line, because we always got to divide people up. Once Mel and Harry go off on their thing to get the blood that he needs in order to potentially become human and give up his immortality, Macy, they had already discovered a letter when Macy was a little mad, and she discovered this thing that just so happened to be hidden in the upstairs attic. And it was a letter saying when you can't stand each other. And then basically Macy's like, we could bring our mother back to try to figure out what she said, because maybe she had a premonition and knew this was going to happen. So let's bring her back. So there's a whole thing that happens. Maggie gets possessed. Once again, Sarah Jeffrey gave a great performance as a father and daughter deceased duo. Antonio comes in, and we'll talk about Antonio a little bit more with the ship talk. And in the end, Marisol does come through, and she gives advice, just not the advice that would actually move this plot line forward. She basically gave advice. I love Marisol's voice. I actually really love the actress that plays Marisol. I love how she plays Marisol. She's probably one of my second or third favorite characters, and she's not even regularly on there. But Marisol gives advice, and it's not with the allergy, because probably to anyone else, it was probably obvious that this wasn't going to be what the letter was about. It was probably going to be about the fact that the sisters can argue. And maybe that letter would have made sense in season 2. And when they were a little bit on the outskirts of each other. So season 3, she's saying, I can't help you with, or I don't know, I didn't know about that. But let me give you advice about your love lives, because I guess that's important. I guess it's important. But Marisol, what a waste of this super powerful witch that she wouldn't be like, okay, I know y'all got love life stuff, but let's get this allergy. And what's really good with the magic world, girls? Like she has time to tell them about their dating situations. But see, what did you think about that plot line, Mom?
That's what you said. The writing didn't take it that way. They went another way with it, And like I said, that it's totally different from the writing of the old one, because right in there, in the old one, they had. The ancestors came back. They was able to come back and forth, and they had, and they knew answers that, to show them what. But they never went back to they gotta find. Maybe they need to find their old ones, like the first charm ones, like they did in the other ones. They always went back to some stage of where the charm ones was. This was not. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with this show right here. They catch you, and then they. What
did you think of Marisol's advice? Did you think it was a little? I mean, I thought it was good advice in terms of love life stuff. It was actually good advice with Maggie.
Yeah, because Maggie.
With Macy, it was a little vague, but I thought it was kind of like, hey, I try to find a way for y'all to be together. I honestly, and we'll talk about it in Ship Talk. Let's talk about Marisol stuff in Ship Talk in terms of the advice. But I was a little disappointed that she had nothing to say about the perfecti or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, you're working with these powerful beings. Just be careful. Watch out. Or, just be diligent. Do your research, Macy. Nothing about working with these powerful beings. And it was like, so does Marisol think nothing else is really important right now? So is she confirming that nothing of importance is happening this season?
It's the way you had asked that one question. So it didn't take that long. But, I don't know. I just didn't get that.
I just felt like it was a little contrived. It was like, okay, well, I can't help you with that. Anything else? Maybe this thing with Harry. I'm like, so she really got brought back from the dead to give them love advice? Like, that's what we're doing here? Like, Marisol's this super powerful witch. And that's the only advice she can give her daughters.
Like I said, I just didn't get I don't know. They just, like I said, they're going in another direction with this whole storyline. I know they don't want to keep it the same from the old one, but you're losing me here.
Yeah, and Madame Scorpio actually has a very good point, and this is what I also wrote down in my notes. Madame is saying, I wish they had waited on Mel before they contacted Marisol. I also felt that way, and I as well. And I was like, when Macy was like, we can bring Marisol, and then they just do. I'm like, wait a minute, you're about to have a conversation with the dead, with y'all deceased mom. You don't think Mel would want to be around for that? That's not something you think Mel would care to be there for? And I get it. I think that was more of the writers' way of doing it than what the daughters would do. I honestly think if they were actually written in character at that moment, they would have waited for Mel, because they also would have had to ask her, hey, Mel, this is your mom too. Do you think it's okay to contact her and bring her back for something like this? And it was just like, what?
See, that's what I'm saying. They did. It's like, okay, if they're the power of three have to be together to know stuff and do stuff, but they're not going with the power of three. Because they're saying if they do something, one have to do it, the other one do it. Oh, there's just two, not three. Sometimes,
I mean, I get when they have to split off, but I think for something as important as this, bringing back their mother, I just thought it was really weird that Mel wasn't contacted or texted and saying, hey, we're thinking about doing this just to let you know we might have a brief conversation with our deceased mom, and you might not be here for it.
They didn't put it.
No, it was the writers, but
they didn't put it as, they didn't think that as well. They need to have it all three sisters together when they do their mother.
Yeah. Madame Scorpio is also saying it was tragic that Marisol didn't tell her girls how to solve the allergy or help her anyway besides romance. And Robert, thanks for joining us in the live chat. Robert says pretty much the same thing. Still pissed they brought back Marisol just to give relationship advice. Was Dexter not available or something? Yeah, it just wasn't. It was like, yeah, I wrote it out. I was like, wait a minute. That's why we brought Marisol back. All she's going to do is give them love advice. Obvious answers too. I mean, it was motherly advice, which was great, but it was also like, yeah, there's something more serious happening right here. And I just can't believe with the way they have written Marisol to be up to this point. Marisol has made so many sacrifices for her daughters, for the greater good of them and the universe and the world. And you are telling me that when she came back from the other side, she had nothing to say about the perfecti. Really? Okay. All right. That didn't make any sense.
That did not make no sense. I mean, you just came back to tell them that. And you didn't, like you were saying, you didn't say, oh, yeah, let me tell you, do not trust or whatever. I mean, you didn't even ask, what else is going on here?
Hey, what do you think about the perfecti? Then again, Macy and the girls don't seem to be concerned about the perfecti either. That's also something that's its own thing, where it's kind of like they just let the perfecti kind of take over and they're just kind of cool with that. And I'm like, you guys are the charm ones.
And they're letting them do it.
Yeah, they're just letting, it's kind of like we got rid of the elders. The charm ones ended up becoming the leaders of in a way, the default leaders of the magical realm. And they just, aside from season 2, when they were going around saving witches, I feel like all of that has fallen by the wayside. We haven't really seen them really saving anyone as of late or anything like that. And it's just kind of like, okay, so I guess they just decided to let the Perfecti take over. And that seems a little weird that none of them would have a problem stepping away from that duty, you know? But then again, this whole season, they've really been pushing this idea that all 3 girls just want a normal life. And it's just like, that just seems a waste for a witch show. But, yeah, so that's where we're at on that. So, I mean, in terms of this plot line, it didn't really move anything forward except relationship stuff, which we'll talk about in Ship Talk. Nothing was said about the Perfecti. No movement on the allergy. And that's what we can take away from this episode, that there was no movement on the allergy. The allergy is still in place. And there just seems to be in all of the magical realm, aside from that weird egg, no way of lifting this random allergy. So that's where we're still at with that. And so that plot line, I enjoyed it. I will say, like I said, I love Sarah Jeffries' performance. The father and daughter duo got tugged on my heartstrings. I got it. I loved that moment. It was really good performances, but unfortunately, it had no bearings in the main plot line of what they're dealing with. So I'm not going to say it seemed like filler, because it did move some stuff forward. It just seemed pointless for the allergy plot line. So,
well, it was pointless because Maggie did make up her mind about who she wanted to be with.
Well, she did make up her mind at the end.
That's what she did. She made up her mind.
So, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, it wasn't pointless in terms of ships, but it was totally pointless in terms of the whole reason why they did it, which was for the allergy. Marisol gave no, what a waste of Marisol, man. That's just crazy to me. Okay, so let's move on to Harry. So Harry is still on this about becoming human. And he went to one of the Perfecti, and they told him, listen, you do this, there's no going back, there's no way of reversing it. So I guess he can't become a vampire or something. I don't know if vampires exist in this universe. Because I was thinking of all types of ways. I'm like, he could if he really wanted to go. Like, why are the Perfecti like gods or something? I just don't understand this. But so what you have is that he's also told he has 6 days, and he's given these pills. He has to give it to one of his last, did it say male descendants, or did it just say one of his last descendants?
Yeah, I think it was the last descendants.
And so he basically go off to England to get it from his son. And we find out that his son passed away, which kind of sucked. You know, Harry was a bit sad about that, rightly so, because he never got to know his son. Although Harry wasn't the best dad or husband when he was around during that time. So had he got to stay around, who knows how he would have turned out. And so we get this whole thing with him. And what was the little boy's name? Was it Georgie?
I think it was Georgie. Was it Georgie?
Yeah. And so we get a whole thing. I actually did not hate this plot point. I actually liked it. I thought it was very sweet. I love the little, I usually don't like kids in shows, but, and the little kid, Georgie, was playing the obnoxious thing. But then when you see at the end why he's affected, I was like, oh my gosh. And I actually just really liked, it was quaint. That plot. What did you think of that plot line, Ma? I enjoyed it. And the end with the hug, I was like, okay, this is actually okay.
Yeah, I like the way they made him look like a demon eating something. The way he, wolf or whatever. But that was true how they did. I liked how they did that, because the way he was acting, he was obnoxious and everything. But then he said he wanted something more. He didn't want the Kenny. He wanted family.
Yeah,
I thought that was good.
It was a good plot line. It was nice seeing other characters that weren't the same kind of characters in a different space.
Yeah, but then okay, I understand that part that he was doing. So he gave the kid at the pill. Did he eat all the pills, or he just had 2 of the pills?
I think he ate all of the pills. That's why he had such a bad reaction. There was one left.
There was one left. He said he dropped, so he must have had all that. But then that's what I'm saying. When you said he got the blood, I don't think he got blood from him.
I think he did get it.
Oh
Well, maybe it was off screen. I just feel like he ended up getting it.
Maybe off screen, but like I said, I think they, that was a nice plot, and I liked it, Mason, but they didn't give too much plot to, like I said, Abigail. That's the plot I want.
Well, we'll get to her in a second. Let's talk about Harry.
And Harry, he shouldn't give up his powers. That's how I see it.
So your team, Harry needs to keep his powers?
Yes, he need to keep his powers.
Let us know. Do y'all agree with my mom, y'all, in the replay and also in the live chat? Do you agree with my mom that Harry should keep his powers? Because this whole episode seemed to be leaning towards the right thing to do would be giving Harry the chance to form relationships and grow old together. And I got something to say about that too. But yeah, let us know. Do y'all agree with it? In the chat so far, Damie points out, that Harry's plotline touched Damie's heart, learning of his son's death and meeting his family. I agree with you, Damie. I really agreed. I actually really kind of like that plot point. Blue Wolf is saying the child was a brat. You are right. I agree with you. Damie is also, thank you for that answer, Damie, saying that it's just the male descendant. So that's good, because I think Harry might have thought that his last chance was gone, but it was good, so it must have been Georgie. So the question is, did he actually get the blood from Georgie? Because that wasn't shown. But the way he came back and talked to Macy, I felt like he had actually gotten it. So, Madame Scorpio saying, I kept wondering why Harry didn't question what would happen to the boy's soul, since that was needed for Harry's mortality.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was a thing on the fine print, but the fine print just seemed to be about taking the pills in general and what adverse effects it could happen. So yeah, not the most, thing. Scorpio is also saying Harry needs to keep his power. Blue Wolf questioning the Perfecti, same, saying, I feel like the Perfecti wasn't telling Harry everything. Yes. And yes, Harry needs to keep his powers. And Damien, I agree. They do need to stop doing stuff off screen, because it's like, am I just supposed to assume that it happened?
Yeah.
Lovely is saying, thanks for joining us in the chat, Lovely, is saying the last White Lighter becoming mortal and losing his power seems like the dumbest idea ever.
I agree with you on that.
Yes, Lovely. Very lovely comment, Lovely, because you are, I agree with you. Jackson McNuggets, thanks so much for joining us. They loved the episode. Robert is saying he should keep them. Harry should keep his powers. I don't like they are proving Celeste right with this plot. Yes. And I think, and I wonder, are they listening to the fans on this? Or maybe if this is something of a red herring, right? They're going to make you think that he's going to give up his powers. And maybe in the end, when it's necessary, he doesn't, he chooses to keep them. I hope that's where this is going.
I hope that's where it's going.
And the reason, what are you saying, Ma? Finish that?
He don't need to give it up. I mean, I think something's going to happen that he really be needed to, use his powers.
I agree with you. I hope that's the case, because this is my thing. It's really weird to me they're emphasizing this idea that one has to be mortal to have a full, true life of memories and things. And it's just kind of weird when you have a show that is a magical show with so many magical, immortal beings. And I'm sure there's plenty of witches that live for very long times. And so it seems weird to create this kind of narrative that somehow because if you don't get to grow old and have a mortal existence, that somehow your life isn't as cherished and you can't have as many memories. I just think that's such a short-sighted kind of way of thinking on a show that's about the supernatural. I'm just like, wait a minute, y'all do realize it's a supernatural show, right? About witches? What?
We're just still asking that question. Which way are you going here?
Yeah, and I'm just like, and I think they're being short-sighted on this. I mean, maybe it's just because I've watched enough vampire series to know that there's other ways of a couple to be able to stay together and things. And I can't help but wonder if this is some kind of weird inadvertent way of Macy isn't going to be able to have kids if Harry stays immortal or something, which is not the case, because if they're just still doing it like the original did it, she got pregnant by a white lighter. Yeah. So it's not like he has to be, like he has to be mortal to have children, because he's like, I want to celebrate birthdays and high school graduations. And first of all, y'all haven't even had a discussion on whether Macy wants to have kids. Like that's weird to me. Like, you're making all these assumptions about growing a family, and there's not even a question on whether Macy wants to have children. This is the year 2021. I mean, she doesn't have to want to have kids. Yeah, that seems to be, and you already had one. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just seemed weird that was kind of the thought process. Like, how are we going to be able to raise our children and grow old together? And it's like, what does Macy really want? I mean, I know they have had her say so much, oh, I can't wait till we grow old together. That's going to be us one day. And I'm like, and I'm just like, why is Macy, a scientist, such a smart, intelligent, usually logical person, why is she being written to be such a sap when it comes to something like that? It just is so out of character. It just feels like it's such a contrived plot point just for this moment, just for this thing with Harry and the drama of it, because I just can't. She's a scientist. She's a scientist and a witch. And one of the things science is constantly trying to do is find ways to get to stave off death. So I'm not understanding this obsession with the growing old and dying together thing. You're a witch. Don't you want to have a few centuries with your person? I'm not. It's so weird to me. Let me know, y'all. Am I off base? Am I being a little cold-blooded?
Take that over. It's really coming from Harry. So I
feel like they are going out of their way to make it to show us. Or tell us, they're not really showing us, but to tell us that that's what Macy wants too. I haven't even gotten to see them date and be a normal couple yet. I'd like that before they're planning their future child's high school graduation. I mean, geez. Like, what? Like, can we do the first step? Like, it's kind of weird. Blue Wolf is saying Harry is literally a unicorn. Damie is saying, at first I didn't want Harry to give up his powers, but after watching his plot line this episode, I think it's okay. I mean, it has to be painful watching everyone he loves dies because he outlives them. That's a good point, and I'm sure that's a thing that vampires, deal with. Damien saying, but then again, Macy stripped Fiona of her immortality, and Fiona had her powers. Blue Wolf is saying Harry already lived his mortal life. That too. Yeah, Madame Jada. Exactly. Jada proved that witches and white lighters can have children together. Yes, Jada from season 1. I want Jada back. I miss Jada. But yes, it's totally, she was half white lighter, half witch. So it's totally doable. So I just don't understand this whole thing of memories because you need to be able to get wrinkles to have them. I don't know. Madame Scorpio is saying, it's like they are deliberately dumbing Macy down and I'm tired of it. Jordan Bryan is saying, yes, as Madame pointed out, in season 1, Jada was half white lighter, so obviously they can have children. Yes, I agree with you, Damie. That's what I'm hoping we get to. I think Macy should be made immortal. I don't understand why the only...
If that was the case, that's what the way she shall win. Well, I want to be immortal. Make me immortal.
I'm just so confused why it's the only thought process is to make Harry... I'm like, why is that the only option? Jackson is saying, yes, and her pulling Maggie out of therapy was so uncharacteristic of Macy. That too. It's just weird the way, I mean, I'm not saying it like now don't get me wrong, and I'll talk about it in Ship Talk. I have loved Hasty, this season. I have loved all the moments we've gotten with them. It's really weird because I'm just wondering, outside of that, sometimes I think they don't give Macy consistency in her wants and needs. Like, she is a scientist and she's now a businesswoman. And it just seems so like not in character for her to be all about certain things. And I'm just like, it just feels a little contrived to me for this plot line. So I'm not,
well, what is business? I don't see it at
She hardly works. I don't know.
Exactly.
She's been doing, as we saw this episode, she's been doing 200 and over experiments for the allergy. O'Dane is saying, thanks for joining us in the live chat, O'Dane. I don't think Harry will strip his powers. They may attempt to it, but it won't work out. I kind of hope so.
I hope so.
Robert is saying, Macy trying to figure out immortality through science and magic so she can be with Harry forever makes so for a far more interesting story than this. Exactly. And wouldn't it be so different, right? If it would be like, no, I want to be immortal, Harry. I'm looking for a way to get rid of this allergy. And as a scientist, I'm going to search for the fountain of youth or something like that. It would be so cool to see Macy do something like that. And yet we're doing this instead. Like, what? Yeah. Just seems a little, yeah. Blue Wolf is saying they need to give Macy Celeste's watch. Yeah, where is Celeste? Did she die? I don't know. I mean, just because she gave up the watch, that means she was gonna die? Because no one's mentioned that. I feel like they need to ask her for advice too. I know I keep saying that, but they have resources, and I mean, the only thing they've come up with so far is trying to bring Marisol back from the other side. And I'm like, out of all the people you've saved, all of the things you've done, you've got no one else to go to about this allergy. It just seems like they always choose to kind of do things like solo when it's not necessary. You know, also, y'all, if you haven't already, please do give this video a thumbs up, a like, engage with it if you haven't already, because by you engaging with it, it helps in the ever mysterious YouTube algorithm to, put it in front of other people so they can also engage. And if you are feeling, donationist, I don't know if that's a word, probably not. Please do, give a super chat donation, and or if you have a particular question that you really want us to take time out to answer, you can do that through a super chat. We have no issues doing that. It's always a pleasure. And also, if you haven't already, please do subscribe, because I love talking about the great mystery and unnatural and abnormal things of life, both in entertainment and in life. And as we are talking about witches when it comes to Charmed as well. So, it's always a pleasure. Yeah, Jackson is saying Celeste is alive. I'm wondering, where is she?
Oh, but they don't mention her or anything or try to ask her anything. I mean, really.
Okay, Damien is saying she's in Greece. So why haven't they done a Zoom call with this woman? Like, hey, you've been around for the longest time. You literally created white lighters. Do you have any idea about this allergy? Like, what's good?
You probably know about the
perfecti.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, have they talked to anybody else about the perfecti, Yeah. Okay, so O'Dane is saying maybe the perfecti will be the one to give up their immortality instead of Harry. That power may transfer to someone like Jordan, who will do a better job than the perfecti. That would be cool. I always love how every week you guys are trying to find a way to make Jordan a supernatural being, and I am for that campaign. However we can keep Jordan safe and around, I am for it, y'all. Let's have all the theories. Do y'all agree with that? Let's have all the theories to keep Jordan around. I think if Harry gives up his white lighter, Jordan needs to take it over. I'm fine with that too. I'm also happy with him being a human, but hey, Jordan would be a wonderful white lighter. So, okay, so let's move on. I think most of us agree that this was a pretty decent plot line for Harry, and it kept with, he didn't change his mind about becoming human. It seemed to have given him even more conviction to become fully human and not mortal. Okay, so now we have your favorite plot line, lady, just as you get a phone call coming in. We have your favorite plot line of Abby this episode.
Abby?
Yes, of Abby. And so I think, I felt really bad for Abby this episode. I think this episode really kind of painted a picture of kind of what she's gone through to make her the way she is, make her so hardened. She clearly had to deal with, abuse from her mother and things like that. She had a very hard upbringing. Now, that doesn't necessarily justify anything she has done. There are plenty of people who have bad upbringings and don't turn into, killers or anything like that. But I do think it does give a little bit of a viewpoint of where she's coming from and what has made her so made it so hard for her to trust others and get close to people. What did you think of Abby's plotline? What did you think of them showing that aspect of her?
Yeah, especially with the mother and why the mother did things. And you saw that child in her and how she was being treated. I said, wow. And then the mother throwing guilt on you too. I felt sorry for Abby.
Yeah. Do you think that was the writer's way of maybe manipulating the audience to care for her?
Yeah. We saw the vulnerable. That's why, you go, damn, her mama did that to her. Wow. So because she was really mistreated for her demon power. I mean, her mother didn't even try to understand the demon power, either try to, see what both will be great. She's not, That's my mom. You can keep her.
Yeah. I think Jordan also in the chat makes a great, I actually really love this actress. I feel like I've seen this actress before too. I don't know what I've seen this actress on like years ago, but she had like an American accent. But I can't remember what it was. But I loved her. And I agree with you, Jordan. Abby's mother would make a great big bad for next season, because clearly her mother wasn't some innocent type person. She was kind of...
say they might bring her mother in.
That would be actually really cool. Although I think a lot of people will hate that, because they'd be like, oh my gosh, this is another way of centering Abby in this plot line and whatnot. But I like that they gave us this moment to kind of get this backstory about Abby. And like I said, I do think it was a little bit not contrived. It's not contrived. I do think it was a little bit on the nose of like, hey, all you Abby haters, this is why she's the way she is, or something like that. So can you stop hating on her so much? Because she's a polarizing figure. I find Abby to be quite interesting. I think she's a very interesting character, but I know it's been very polarizing with her, because some people have had some real issues with feeling like she's taken some of Macy's plot line in terms of being half demon and stuff, which I blame the writers for. I don't blame Abby for that, and things and whatnot. So I like Abby, and I like that they gave her this other layer. But I know some people probably would see this as manipulative on the writer's part to try to force people to care about Abby. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section, also in the live chat. Do you think, if you weren't Team Abby, did this kind of make you a little bit more partial to her? Or do you still feel the same way? I kind of want to know from the Abby people who kind of dislike her, what this made you feel like after this episode. Jackson is saying, exactly, they have so many healing potions. They have teleportation, the Book of Elders. Now they're replicating power potion that Mel screams out. They don't need Harry to drive. Well, that's true about the other plot line. O'Dane is saying, I have to confess, Abby has grown on me. I'm a fan now. It shows that poor parenting can have a bad effect on children's life in the future in some cases. Yeah. Blue Wolf, though, is staying strong. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't feel sorry for Abigail because she tried to kill her sister. But Abigail did say that she was young and she didn't understand what was happening. I don't think she deliberately tried to actually hurt her sister. She said, I didn't know what was going on. My powers were new to me. I had no idea that I would shoot fire. I mean, it's kind of similar to what happened with Macy, right? When she almost lit that guy on fire. She didn't know what was happening. It just kind of happened based off an emotion. So I mean, we let Macy get away with that. We didn't say Macy had some evil streak in her when she did that to the guy, although the guy deserved it. So can we do the same thing in condemning Abby for that mistake she made? But yes, I also agree with Blue Wolf in saying Abigail's mother treated her like she was Carrie. Yes, from Stephen King. Very much so. Yeah. And Madame Scorpio saying, at least Alistair seems more merciful by trying to kill her rather than torturing her. Yeah. Sounds like Abigail's mother tortured her, like putting her in a box for who knows how many hours. I mean, wow. I mean, that can mess up a person.
I have a question to ask. Yeah, go
ahead.
They just had to have that. Every time I saw it, she said it was a glass of what, scotch? They always had a glass of scotch.
I guess that's her vice. They made that kind of her vice.
It's her vice because she always drank it, right?
Yeah. Although it's kind of weird because I'm like, Abigail's not an alcoholic, so I don't know where this is coming from. But I guess that explains her kind of way of like she always wants a drink. So maybe that's their way of saying this is her way of distracting herself from her problems is when she drinks. But I don't know. They never really made it seem like she was an alcoholic before. So that was a little weird.
That was weird. I mean, if that's not like when she was trying to get out and she went into the next room and she said no, but I just didn't get the replica, you always saw the scotch in the glass,
Well, I do think in the Tomb of Chaos, that just basically represented if you drink this, you're giving way to this. I feel like that just became a symbolic part of it. Like you're totally relaxed here. You've accepted that this is where you are right now. And Damien is pointing out is their way of getting us to like Abigail, obviously. Madame is also agreeing about Abby's mom being a villain. I think that would be something to be interesting. I mean, I love the actress. In the short time she was on, I was like, okay, I'm here for it. If this woman decides to be, evil. Damien's also saying, I still don't like Abby, but I do pity her for all she's been through. I still need to see Abby make a deliberate effort to amend her ways. I also agree with you, Damien. Actions speak louder than words, of course. We shouldn't just accept, oh, you had such a bad upbringing, so, that explains why it's okay that you killed some people. Like, no, not at all. But what we see is that Abigail did drink the drink, Ma. So she seemingly accepted her thing, but pretty much after they mentally dug into her stuff and basically broke down her defenses. And, I think this also showed just how vulnerable Abby is at times emotionally. So I think she just kind of accepted, hey, this is it. I'm here. And we didn't see Jordan, but we know Jordan is in there somewhere. So for this time, it seems like Abigail is stuck in the Tomb of Chaos. Now, I did not mind this plot line, but once again, it's kind of like, is this just a one-off plot line? Or does this connect to something bigger? Because I hope it does. Because if not, it's kind of like, well, why did this happen? Why did we need this to happen right now? Yeah. I didn't mind it. I liked it. And I loved the dynamic between Abigail and her mother and seeing that. And oh my God, they got an actress that looks just like her. It was such a weird family resemblance with the acting. That was great casting. So, but yeah, I don't know where this is going, which goes to what we were saying about not understanding where they're going with any of these plot lines. And we saw that Maggie came in and looking for Jordan, that she automatically got that Jordan and Abby are in the Tomb of Chaos. So that's where we're at on that. Didn't hate the plot line. Didn't get a lot of it, but it was there.
A little better.
Yeah, I mean, but then you see, if they had done that, they would have gotten a lot of flack for once again making Abigail's story one of the major plots. So it's, they have to deal with
Abigail. I mean, show me what Jordan was. What was he doing at that moment at that time? And what was he going through? I mean, the man's human. He's in a place that
exactly. He's human and he's dealing with this. Like, I mean, I get it. I mean, and I'm wondering what this is going to do to Jordan because he did go to war. He's a veteran and he dealt with some really intense stuff over there. And so I'm wondering where his psyche is going to be. So, I mean, I saw a promo for the next episode and it looks like we might get a glimpse of that, hopefully. Okay. So we got those three things. As you can see, nothing significant majorly happened in these three plot lines. Just the plot lines happened. So let's go to ship talk. Ship talk. Yeah, we actually have 3 ships to talk about, maybe 4, funny enough. Usually you always say it, lady, that we only have Hasty to talk about, but that is not the case this episode. But we are going to start off with Hasty first. Harry is trying to still be human. I think we talked about Hasty a lot.
I think you can't go no more with that relation. They want to be together, and that's
I guess I will say I feel like they're being small-minded. I'm fine with the fact that they both seem to be on the same page about wanting to be together. I just think as smart as the both of them are, that it just seems weird that their first thought process is for Harry to give up his immortality. And it's just like, y'all are like some of the biggest brains on this show. And that's all you got. It does not.
It's the writers.
Yeah. But they could do, I love Hasty though. I love their moments when they're like, I just want to be with you. I love that. When they have like at the end of this episode, kind of like, I want to have these memories with you. I love that. I just think they're going about it not the best way. So hopefully, as much as I love Hasty, I want them to pump the brakes on him taking his immortality.
I do too.
Yeah, I just want them to get rid of the allergy first. How about we just focus on that?
Think about it. Then you know, something else is coming, and he needs. I'm sure he needs those powers.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I agree. I mean, and yeah, I know others are saying, hey, the Charm Ones are the most powerful beings. They don't need a white lighter. But I mean, the world needs a white lighter. And they do too. I mean, let's be real. They have gotten into their own stuff.
And he have to think this way too. If he get more, and if Macy or any of them get hurt, he can't heal them.
Yes.
So what good was that? He gonna realize what good is that if she get hurt, I can't heal her and she passed. Come on, think, man. You ain't gonna be. She's dead.
They're not thinking, and that's just it. They're not thinking it through. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like they're letting the allergy and the fact that they've had to be so apart physically for so long really influence their decision on this. And I just wonder if they would have the same thought.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I'm like, I wonder if, go ahead, Mom. Yeah.
If you're a witch, like you said, why couldn't it just go in each other's dreams and say, well, we can do this for now?
Yeah, and even not, like, even if you didn't do that, why are you letting something that we hope is temporary? I mean, y'all just said y'all are one of the most powerful beings. Like, you can figure out this allergy thing. It's been like it's been months, not years, of this allergy thing. And it's like, I feel like it's kind of like, why are you letting this situation determine his immortality? That's a very big decision to make when you're under stress, given this allergy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Hey, Lola Mayer, thanks for joining us in the live chat. Always a pleasure. Jackson is saying Harry should become immortal when Macy reaches his age. I think Jackson is saying Harry should become mortal when Macy reaches it. Yeah, give it a few more years. Yeah. She reaches your age as you are looking, and then you become immortal. You know what I mean? Like, do it in like 10, 15 years. Like, what is the rush right now? You know, seems silly. But yeah, that's where Hasty is. They're in love as much as ever. So I can't complain about that. I just want them to think a little harder about this situation. With all the thing that, I mean, it was so easy for him to find a way to become mortal. You would think, like you said, Ma, it would be easy to find some type of dream spell so they could be together physically. I mean, it's just like, it's going from 0 to 60 real quick. Like, you know, that's weird. Okay, so next ship was Mel and Ruby. Yeah, I honestly think that is the most underdeveloped relationship in the history of this show. And that's saying a lot, because there was also Macy and her first guy in season 1. And I could even argue that they were more developed, even though I didn't care for his character. Who was it? Macy and Galvin. Macy and Galvin. And I thought they were underdeveloped. And I felt like Macy tried really hard to please him. And we didn't even get to see why she should really be into him like that. And I honestly, I feel the same way about Mel and Ruby. Not saying I don't like Ruby as a character. I'm saying I don't know Ruby as a character. I don't know this character. We haven't gotten a chance to know her on the level like we've gotten to know Jordan for Maggie and stuff. So we can honestly say Jordan would be, you know, so great for her, or just great to have around. And it just seems so weird that the main staple of her situation with Ruby was telling her she loved her. And I was like, I haven't even seen you guys date. Why am I supposed to be happy about this confession of love? What did you think, Ma? Like, I'm just kind of underwhelmed by them. And I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, you don't want to put a lot of extra weight on some things just because, but Mel is the lesbian representation on this show. And it just seems kind of not smart to make it so out of all the relationships, hers is the most underdeveloped.
Well, I really have nothing to say on that. I mean, I don't. I really don't.
There's nothing really to say. I mean, it is. It's there.
It made it seem like that. Well, this is how I feel. I want you to know. I saw these two people, and I felt like what they was going through, and they made me realize it's not about this. I love you.
Exactly. I didn't even understand what the conflict was. I'm like, are you mad because y'all aren't like, I don't get this. Like, I'm so confused.
I understand that. I mean, you're not touching. I understand that, but isn't a relationship more than just the touching part too? It's supposed to be
well, clearly that's why she's saying, I mean, I got it. That's why Mel was like, well, that doesn't mean I love you and it's great. But this is what I'm saying. I don't know any conversations the two of them have really had, except for the time when Ruby's on the show, like for a little bit, and something significant happens in their relationship. Other than that, Ruby's not around just casually hanging out in the house, talking about things, nothing like that. And it's just like, what? How can you root for a relationship they don't show you? I guess
they want you to fill in that part. They're talking on the phone.
But you get what I'm saying, Mom? We get to see everybody else. Yeah, and the one couple that's like, same sex is getting the short end. And I just don't think that's okay. But it's like I don't want to be one of those people like, let me get on the soapbox and say why it's wrong. I mean, I'm not, so it's like, I guess I would want to hear from people who do, are part of the LGBTQ community, how they feel about, or the lesbian, like how they feel about the way this relationship is being portrayed. It's not about, the chemistry. It's just like, they're not giving us any other thing. But maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Maybe people are like, I'm cool with this. And that's fine. I'll be fine with it too. I just think it's whack. I think as a relationship, though, I will say I don't think they have great chemistry. That too. And Melania, I don't know if Ruby has a last name. I haven't heard it, which is another issue, right? Lola, I agree. Mel needs to have a relationship on screen. Jackson McNuggets. Jackson checked the fan page. Ruby has no last name. Isn't that crazy? That we're getting professions of love and we don't even know this character's last name. Blue Wolf is saying there's no chemistry between Mel and Ruby. And Madame Scorpio is saying, I found Mel and Ruby's relationship unrealistic. Ruby doesn't even want to be a witch, and Mel is about the witch life. Yeah, I don't know where they're going. I just don't understand it. Jordan is saying, Mel's relationship is so underdeveloped because they switch out her love interest frequently. Lola saying, Mel and Ruby are like friends with benefits. Although Lola, they're doing professions of love. I mean, I know to all of us, it kind of seems like a very casual relationship, but somehow Mel is saying, I love you to this girl. Jackson is saying we need a Ruby episode. I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
Not even like a Ruby whole episode, just somewhere where she can help them and like we learn a little bit more about Ruby. I'd be fine with that. And I just don't think we're getting it. And it's a hard sell to make me think this is Mel's one true love. And I really do wonder, like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like how I feel like as a Black woman, like when I've watched shows where the Black girl is like the Black best friend, which is whatever. And then she gets a plot, but her plot is always off screen. I'd be annoyed. I have been annoyed as someone who watched the Vampire Diaries and went through the war of the Vampire Diaries and defending Bonnie from friggin' Julie Pleck's horrible writing of her. It was always me trying, like me and others, of course, fighting for Bonnie to get some kind of autonomy, some kind of plot line that didn't revolve around everybody else and her getting scraps. And that's what we got throughout. And I had a real issue with that. And other people would say, well, she's getting something, so shouldn't you be happy? So I'm just kind of like, I don't think that's okay, especially when you're from an underrepresented group in media representation. I mean, if writers are going to take a character like that on, you better do good by them, Yes, Madame Scorpio, they did Bonnie dirty, really dirty. I've got war flashbacks from the Vampire Diaries fan wars. Oh my gosh. So I'm just like, to me, when writers are taking on characters, it's like either you do right by a character or don't have them on the show. Don't do it. Don't even play it up if you're gonna like half-ass it. You know what I mean? Excuse my language, but that's my honest opinion. Robert is saying, with Poppy leaving, it's sad that this is the best they can do for Mel. Okay, Robert. Now, I hear that's a rumor. I don't know if that's been actually confirmed. I think some people, I don't know where the rumor started about Poppy, who plays Abigail, leaving the show. But so far, my understanding is that is just a rumor, unless you all have heard confirmation. Let me know. I don't always score the internet like that. I try to stay off the internet a lot of time nowadays. But let me know. Because I'm hearing that's just a rumor so far. Might be what some people want, but it might also just be a rumor. Lola Sam, still upset that Poppy's leaving. I hope Abby gives Macy her powers back. Yes, Damie, poor Bonnie, and she was my favorite character. Yes, she was. She was the one of the better characters. And Julie Plec, no comment on Julie Plec. I'm not even going to talk about that. I refuse to watch any new Julie Plec shows because of what happened on The Vampire Diaries. I don't trust her. But that's neither here nor there. I could have a whole video about the wrongness that happened on so many levels of The Vampire Diaries. Took my Stelena ship. Anyway, okay, I'm going off on a tangent. Okay, sorry. I got memories. Okay, so now we have the highlight of the episode, to me, honestly, was that we had some progress with Georgie. We had some progress with Jordan and Maggie. Maggie finally made a decision. She kind of agreed, madame. She kind of she made a decision. I was a little worried. Were you worried, Ma, or did you care at all that it seemed like Maggie was about to give Antonio a chance?
No, because she thought about Jordan, so I figured it was gonna go there. I knew that was gonna go.
Yeah. So you had no doubt. I was a little worried. It's funny you had no doubt. Why didn't you have any doubt?
Remember when she had that premonition that he was like doing her face, and because I was thinking that, I said no. But then when the ghost guy entered, I said, okay, I figured it's that way. Maybe that's what she saw.
Okay.
But I'm glad she did, when he asked her out the first time, she wasn't sure how to answer that because she thought about Jordan when he said, "Is you seeing someone?" And she was like, she wasn't quite sure.
I also just worried. First of all, I just thought it was inappropriate he was asking her out. First of all, it's really great that they both got the internship. Kind of made the whole thing between them competing a little lackluster because it ended up just being him taking just both of them, which is fine. And maybe this is also their way of keeping Antonio around without having him date her.
But wait a minute. The part, okay, I have to say this. Remember that part when she said, well, I was dating a demon once?
And she said I was a witch?
And he said, I dated a witch. Yeah. Now, he could have really been dating a witch.
He might have honestly been dating a witch. Yeah, that might come into play. I think maybe them both getting the internship was a way of them keeping Antonio around. I don't mind Antonio as a character. I think the actor is fine and nice looking and everything. I just was kind of like, well, you built up Maggie and Jordan. I don't care for this kind of triangle. So I'm fine with that. But I was just kind of like, okay. So maybe this is their way of keeping him around. But I am glad that Maggie finally made a decision. I don't know if they're going to have her actually address her whole "this is the year of me" thing, because seemingly she's gotten over that, I guess. Because in the previous episode, she was all about the year of me. But are they going to explain why she's now like, okay, I'm okay with it, but not being a year of me. I want to be with Jordan. Do you think they're actually going to address that?
You might have to. Because I think they should. Because when she said that she's giving this Jordan another chance, that's when she worried about it. She went looking for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that they get together. I'm glad she made a decision because, as many of us were saying, that Jordan, we all love Jordan, and Jordan deserves better. And so I'm happy that they kind of made her make a choice. I think it's going to be fun to see them as in a relationship, and hopefully we actually do see that. And I agree, Lola. If they bring Josefina back, I hope they do a little bit better by her. And maybe, balance her out a little bit more in terms of her wants and needs. But I did not dislike the character. Damie is saying, never wanted Antonio with Maggie. I'm glad he danced with Daisy. And I was worried too. I was like, what if she gets unpossessed and she chooses to keep dancing with him? I was like, no. I was so annoyed. I was like, they better not have her start having feelings for Antonio. I have put too much investment in Georgie for this. Like, do not do this to me. Yes, Madame Score. I thought it was inappropriate that Antonio asked her out. I'm like, y'all working together. Give it at least a couple of months or like at the end of it or something, right? Mercenary, thanks for joining us in the chat, Mercenary. It's saying Antonio does look like a character that could be later revealed as a villain. He could be, or maybe manipulate, or maybe he's like related to someone or something. I could see that happening. The actor, I don't think they'd bring in an actor like that because he does seem like a very, how you put it? Because it's CW, right? He seemed like an actor that can play versatile, right? So I feel like if they brought him in, it wouldn't just be to be a love interest, that he could be part of a plot line later on. So I could see that happening, Mercenary. Jackson saying, let's bet Maggie and Jordan will kiss when she rescues him out of the bed. Let's make a tune. Okay, y'all, let's make a bet. Are we going to get a Georgie kiss? Let us know in the comments and in the live chat, but particularly the comments, y'all, because, the live chat doesn't always keep playing after it goes up. Place your bets, okay? Jackson McNuggets, are you betting yes or no? Because we will hold you to it, Jackson, and everyone else. Do you think we're going to get a Jordan and Maggie kiss at the end of the next episode or whenever they get out of the tomb? I'm going to say yes. I'm gonna say yes because they have made us wait way too long. So, yes. What do you think, Ma? You say yes? You think we're gonna get a Georgie kiss? Okay, y'all. Y'all let us know if we're gonna get a Georgie kiss. Let us know. Blue Wolf is saying maybe Antonia is a witch hunter now. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. A witch hunter. That would be interesting. Yeah. Madame is saying, Lord, please let that kiss happen. We agree. Robert is saying twist. Now that Maggie is ready, Jordan is going to come out of the tomb of chaos mess. Robert, don't do that. Why are you going to jinx it, Robert? Even though you're probably right. I don't want you to be right on this one. Like, I think so too. I think they're playing the long game with them. So I feel like now that Maggie is ready, something's going to happen with Jordan. I actually agree with you, but I kind of hope we get at least, maybe something comes out with him. Like maybe something jumps onto him or something like that. I don't know. But I could see that. And I agree with you, Mercenary. They're doing a lot of tell, don't show with Mel and Ruby's relationship. Yeah. Hey, Zay, thanks for joining us. No worries. I think there was a little confusion. My mom was also confused on Friday. If you were on the East Coast, they actually didn't play the episode live. So, right, you had to watch it online, didn't you, Ma?
Yeah, I had to watch it online. I said, that is so strange.
Yeah, because the baseball game. So I know there's a little bit of confusion. Maybe everyone didn't get to watch it yet, or whatnot. So Blue Wolf is saying, I want it to happen, but I feel like Jordan is going to be messed up when he leaves the Tomb of Chaos. He's not going to want to have anything to do with those three witches. I hope not.
Oh, I hope not. But it wasn't them that put him in there.
Exactly. And he's already dealt with a lot of witch stuff. So I don't feel like it's going to, and it would be so, I don't feel like that's Jordan's type of character to run away from stuff like that. Jordan is the type of person to not do something like that. I feel like it would be very out of character for him to be like, oh, now, because remember, he was about working with them, even though he knew the dangers. So I feel like it would be a little, kind of not in his character to kind of be that way after a stint in the Tomb of Chaos, but who knows? I feel like not so much that he's going to make the choice himself. I feel like something's going to happen, like maybe something latches onto him, because I don't know if a human, who knows, has a human ever been in the Tomb of Chaos? There may be some adverse effect because he's a human in the Tomb of Chaos. And I think that may be the next thing we deal with. What if, y'all, something possesses Jordan and Jordan becomes the big bad? Like a possessed big bad. Like we have to like save his soul. Like has anyone ever watched Buffy when Angel turned bad? you know? And then they made him good again. But when he was bad, he was bad. What if something like that? Could you imagine all of us loving Jordan and then having to see him play the big bad and killing people and stuff? Now, that's the kind of writing we need. I want that. That would be so cool to see, because it would be so hard for all of them to fight him because they all love Jordan. But then the person wearing his face or him being possessed is so evil that they have to figure out a way. You know? Think about that, writers. I feel like, and the actor Jordan, the actor who plays Jordan is so versatile. He's a Broadway actor. That's where he comes from in playing the CW. So he can do it. I would go for that. Yes. Thank you, Lola. And yes, favorite Buffy season was the Angel going evil Buff. Oh my gosh. That was so heart-wrenching, but it worked. And I think this actor would eat that up. Evil Jordan, y'all. Yes, Damien. I know we don't want to see it, but he would be good. He would turn good in the end. Just for a bit, he'd be possessed. Think about it. Okay. All right, y'all. Okay, we're going to wrap it up, but what are your predictions, lady? What are you thinking for the rest of the season? And do you think they're going to be able to get Abby out of the tomb?
I hope so, but I just want Jordan out the tomb first.
Right? That's what we really care about. Getting Jordan.
He didn't belong, but then Abby don't belong in there either. But she drank that drink. I don't know. It'd probably be hard to get her out. But I hope they get Jordan out. I hope Harry don't give up his powers. And I hope that Mel and Ruby have some kind of relationship.
Right, that they build that up. And so, they have no excuse now to keep it off screen. Now that they've said I love you, there's no excuse for it to stay off screen. Ruby should be all up in that house planning and stuff with them, unless they still got to keep with the thing of Ruby not wanting to have anything to do with the magical world.
You act like you don't want to do nothing with the magic world, but yet you wear a witch that's doing something for the world. I don't know, but like I've said, I'm hoping everything, and they have more monsters and really get back into the magical universe, and find some way to help them, because how can you not? They haven't said one thing about them at all.
Who, the Perfecti?
Yeah, I mean,
they're just letting them kind of go off on their thing. And I agree. I do like Mo. I don't want Mo. I kind of don't want the Perfecti to be evil because I like Mo. I like the black guy on there. I'm like, I want him to stay around. He's so fun.
Well, maybe he's a good one, but I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. All right, y'all. Let us know in the comments your theories. Do you like what I said about maybe an evil Jordan or unhinged Jordan when he comes out of the Tomb of Chaos? That would be so cool. I'd be here for it.
Not the unhinged now. Now we don't.
Well, something where it's like he's just affected. Something like that. I don't know. Okay. Give us something, y'all. Give us something. Let us know what the direction of this season is going to be. Because right now, I don't even know. I don't have any predictions because I don't know where this season's going, to be completely honest with y'all. So let me know in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are, how you were loving this episode, and how you're loving the season so far. I read a lot of you all comments for last episode where y'all were saying some of the things y'all wanted better, and I agree with a lot of what y'all were saying, and hopefully we start to see it. Hopefully the writers are listening somehow. But it's always a pleasure. Happy Monday to all of you. May you have a great rest of your week. It is always a pleasure. And stay witchy. Embrace your powers. Don't give up your immortality of the spirit. We love you all. Night, y'all.
Night.
And be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Always appreciate it.